Here we go. To my boys, first I want to say I love you. Yeah, I'm making this after I've already recorded the my proof video. I was there the whole time. Yeah, I was with you. And all I'm asking is that you guys give me just a small part of your day, or at least a small part of your attention span. And we had pretty good fun, I thought. And I love that picture. It's cute. When I was combing your hair and you got mad. There's testing I took Ethan to go do. But just give me a little bit of your day, and go through everything and realize that, there's two sides to every story. When I came down to see you guys here, you guys were talking to me and loved me, and and Elijah, I could tell you were upset with me. But it doesn't have to be this way. You know that. Anyway, I just wish you would take some time to think about things and maybe listen to what I have to say and realize all I was trying to do was, just share custody. That's all. And, yeah, I fell in love with somebody else, but she can never, ever replace the love I have for you two. I love you guys more than life itself. And I don't have a new family. I have, other people that I was taking care of, and they've, moved out, moved on. Emily's back living with me, and I'm a good enough dad for her, and she felt Layla was in the safest place with me. Isn't that kind of weird if you think about it? But I'm so proud of you, Ethan. You did good in school, and Elijah, I know you did too, but Elijah, actually, I think I'm more proud of you because you did it while being in Washington and COVID and everything. It's crazy. You guys are so young. But, yeah, I miss you both. We all miss you both, And I just don't know if you realize I was there. I took care of you two, also took care of your mom. I think I'll get started with the video. Someone once said, you don't regret the things you did, you only regret the things you didn't do. And I'm putting this together so I don't ever regret not, trying 110%. But I hope you guys had fun. And I never asked you to stop loving your mom. But you're so funny. I love you, Elijah. And Ethan too. I love him. Okay, well, here's the video. It's Elijah at work. Your boss sent me this. It was so nice of him. I love you, son. I'm sorry. Here's the book I put together called Just the Facts, my side of the story, obviously. To my beautiful Elijah and Ethan, I always loved you both and be here for you. You must know in your hearts I would have never abandoned you. I will wait for your call, text, or visit. I love you both, and I'm here for you forever. But every day gone is a day gone. We can't get those days back. I love you both with all of my heart. This is my side of the story that I'm unable to tell you both in person. So here is the cell phone records from the oldest phone I got, 2017 cell phone. These were the notes that I was keeping. I thought I was going to have to take your mom to court. Hey, one other thing is I'm going to present this just the facts, not like how I feel or anything. I'm just showing you what happened back then. On June 8th of 2017, Elijah texted me, said Nicole choked him out. Called the house, also hit Elijah 2 other times. Elijah came back from Grandma's and Nicole and said Grandpa threatened to take him out to the woodshed and lead him also, and showed him my van. Oh, that's when your mom saw that the van. I didn't have any seatbelts. Nicole and Papa took Ethan's birthday money because he had a bad attitude. Let's see, pick boys up, same outfit. It's neither here nor there. She stole and sold a yard truck I had in the yard. It wasn't part of the divorce. Drinking coffee. On October 2nd, Elijah ran away from the library over Nicole not feeding him and also paid her. I gave her $120 that day. Anyway, let's get into the whole how I abandoned you guys and ran away with the new family. Sorry. Cleaning my... I'm just getting over a small cold. September 10th, 2020, trying to revise child support. I'm actually not even going to get into the child support part of it. I just want you guys to see. Well, actually, the child support thing is when she was trying to get more money from me. When I had you guys 50-50. Had you guys 50% of the time, if not more. And just some of the things she said in there really weren't true. She lied on it. But there again, that, doesn't really matter as far as me abandoning you guys. That was my rebuttal to the child support thing. Proof is in the text. Still have this phone from June 2019 to current. And I can show you guys this phone. This is just normal stuff. Her asking me if I can pick you guys up. Are you coming to get Ethan? That's me letting her take Ethan on when it was my week. So they could go on walks. That's your mom asking if Ethan can help work. And you remember, Elijah, you went and worked with us that 1 or 2 days. Sorry, it's like just now 5 o'clock in the morning. I wrote, well, here's how it is. I worked at Paulsboro last week of 5 days. I'm going to apply and give them my availability as every other week. That's what your mom was wrote. So I should not agree to work anymore this week. So she was taking less work and then blaming me. Divorce hurts everybody. Let's see, talking about Ethan going to school, Christian school. And so I'm off now. I can run back to the house, taking the boys back to Southworth now. Thank you. On my way to Southworth in Bremerton. She's in Bremerton. Then I was asking her, right here, if we could go to Yellowstone and then Preston, Idaho, where they filmed Napoleon Dynamite, then you could keep them. She could keep you guys an extra couple days, and and she said okay. So she had no problem sharing in. Thank you so much. And there you go. Ethan needs specialty. We have it with us. I said Ethan should leave that shirt at Glenwood. She's referring to this sarcasm shirt. She said, see you at Fred Meyer leaving Bremerton. I said, okay, thank you, we're leaving now. And then she felt guilty for, here's what she said, the Lord convicted me last week that I was ungracious when I didn't take the decal Amy had for me. I'm sorry if I hurt her feelings. Please forgive me. So she cared what Amy thought back then, but then now, it's okay. Elijah just had said you wanted one. And can you make copies of all that paperwork? And I need the originals. And then she was printing off paperwork about Ethan going to private school. And I gave her all my tax records. And, you know, we trusted each other back and forth. And here, hold on, let me take a drink of coffee. Coffee's hot. Anyway, she wanted to provide Ethan with a decent education. What we must not do is expect Elijah to go to work during his designated homeschooling hours. I would like to start a schedule of 8 to 2 with the lunch in between. I'm also sending in required declaration, things to discuss. Texting is not optimal, so really wasn't anything. Like Idaho, where homeschooling requirements, Washington State is compulsory, 8 to 18. Burley Baptist did not have room for Ethan this year. No, I said, withdraw them. I was going to tell the school we were moving out of state, so no questions were asked. You have to be careful they don't want to vaccinate the kids, even being homeschooled. And at this point, I was just kind of terrified of what the state was going to do. I didn't want you boys being vaccinated or us, or you guys taken away from us, or, you know, the state just coming in and doing whatever they want. Either way, with Elijah, he is an asset but still needs school. And you asked me, you know, Elijah, about the $10,000 that you earned. Did you actually earn it? You know, and here again, I was telling your mom, you know, you earned every bit of the money that you made. You know, you were also learning, but that's just part of the curve, you know, and we all learn, but I wasn't, I paid you for the awesome work you did. I mean, you learned and picked up everything so quickly. It was amazing. Your mom said she had a bachelor's degree and was efficient for state requirements, although Ethan wants to go on a walk with me on Tuesday, and I let that happen. I mean, we made that happen. And your mom wrote, President Trump is mandatory vaccines illegal. I was bullied into vaccinating both of you guys for public school once. Public school once, when in actuality, I could have gotten a religious waiver. I understand out of fear you thought to tell the district we were moving out of state, but that is not the case, although I would like to move to Idaho in 5 years. I also intend on meeting with some other homeschoolers for support, networking, and to find some possible friends for our boys. Okay, enough said, thank you. So she's being nice at that point, you know, and we're getting along. She was going to come get Ethan. This was the next text, and I was like, that was fine. Coming to pick up Ethan, Fred Meyer. I made a podiatrist appointment for his feet. And then this was the questions and stuff in school, which is just ridiculous. So there's the withdrawal form. This was talking about moving. Hey, also Amy's mom, and I want you to know this, September 13th. This was 6 months, before we moved. I was talking to your mom about it. Hey, also Amy's mom's been talking about moving to South Dakota also. So either Idaho or there. Northern Idaho is expensive and Californians are moving there in droves, I said. And just for your info, and your mom said she was thinking about southern Idaho. So, just this alone, we were talking about moving and moving out of state to a different state together. So I don't really know how we got to this point where you guys don't talk to me, and I know you don't want to believe that. Anyway, I'm just going to present the facts. So this is what the facts are. We're babysitting Mari and going to take him for a drive to get him to sleep. Elijah's here, so you can drop Ethan back whenever. Sleep. Ethan's research topic is Tesla. Hold on. And then she was talking about picking up Ethan. Is Ethan ready? How far away are you? And she said, I'm at Glenwood. Did you come out yet? 9:30, 9:45, leaving now. And this was talking about shared custody. Okay, I have to be in Paulsville by 10 a.m. working today. That was me talking September 22nd. If we all moved to different states, how would we do having the kids? And I thought 3 months alternating or 6 months. And your mom said, obviously lawyers will need to be involved. I know, and what this word means to say, I know neither you or I would be okay not seeing the boys for months at a time. I always consult Legal Shield since what happened in a divorce. Elijah and Ethan wanted to wish Emily a belated happy birthday, but the number Elijah had is no longer in service. Happy belated birthday to you. Talking about Emma and me, I guess. But we were talking about sharing custody. And then I said, I'm just asking what you're thinking about time frame for visitation. You mentioned moving, and I was wondering the time gap. If you live a state or two away, visitation every week wouldn't work. Don't need a lawyer to tell me what you are thinking, do you? And I was just trying to, pick her brain so we could work it out without having to go back to court. We both, with COVID going on, weren't spending or didn't have a bunch of money. And then your mom wrote, and here it is, just so it's written in stone. Visitation is a term used for parents who visit. It is different than custody. We, meaning me and your mom, have a child custody order in place. It is something that requires legal counsel. Also, Tony, I would not consider working any change of custody without legal representation, witnesses, and a recording. Although I wish I could trust you, I realize I cannot. So to recap, I wouldn't be moving without legal counsel due to the custody situation. It may not work until 4 years. So she swore, up and down she wasn't going to move. And I just thought we were working on sharing custody. I know you guys didn't want to go with me, out the gate, but I never thought that you guys would never come. And I just thought we both had custody. So I never abandoned you guys. I just thought your mom and I would eventually work it out and do the right thing. 9 a.m. Maybe we should just stick to the parenting plan. That's what I said, 9 a.m. Remember, you don't trust me. And the thing your mom didn't trust me about was she wanted more, or she wanted child support. But when you have 50-50 custody, and like the judge told her, we're both supposed to be working, taking care of you guys, she was capable of working. And that's why she said I tricked her, because she didn't have to pay child support, or I didn't have to pay child support. She didn't have to pay child support. And, There was no alimony. Alimony is for super rich people that I don't know, but I wasn't rich, and I'm not rich. I budget my money real well now, but also it's fine to go to church on my days, which is another thing I was letting happen. We were supposed to be meeting on Sunday, but anyway, hold on. This is still in September 2020, and here it says also it's fine that you guys went to church on my days. I'll cover Elijah's driving school and insurance. I don't think it's fair for him to have to pay, but you ended up paying, I believe, on your own. Maybe you can work with me in the week of October 11th to the 17th. Maybe I could have them a couple extra days, and then whatever extra days I have them, you can have them that amount of days on my week. Going to Idaho and Montana, maybe South Dakota with Amy's mom. She is looking at houses. Also, I was telling your mom, Amazon is hiring at $18 an hour. Sierra got a job there. And she said, yes, I'd be happy to pick up Ethan tomorrow at 9:30 for our walk. We'll let you know about Thursday. I read your text about the upcoming road trip. I will think about it and get back to you. What are your intentions with the modification? You can call my lawyer. They will work with you. Or perhaps you're planning to hire your own lawyer and take us to court. Maybe you will just do the right thing and sign it. So your mom is trying to get me to pay child support when I have you guys half the time, and if not more. And I was paying for everything for you guys. I mean, it got to the point where I had to pay, for gas just for Ethan to stay at Cedar. She was trying to move him to Sedgwick, and I didn't think that was fair with his friends. So I gave her $2,800 right before COVID hit. So, or right before they did the lockdown thingies. I don't remember. But as far as modification, I will send over my taxes and go from there. But you might be misinformed about my situation. I worked 6 months this year. COVID has killed a lot of my business. Took 2 contractors. Amy's mom has loaned us about a lot of money to live on and paid for 3 road trips. Most of the stuff in our house is stuff from Amy's 2 grandmothers that died last year. Her Uncle Dan. I also met Amy before I met you. I didn't meet her online. She was Andy's best friend's older sister. I met her in 1994 in passing. Just like one time I was sitting in my van and she walked by. This will all be in the paperwork I send over. Not getting a lawyer anyway. I thought we have made communication progress. I would like to keep that open. And this is me saying the same things. When you say send your taxes, do you mean to my lawyer? Do not send them to me, she says. I have until October 8th to respond, or I won by default. And then she said, why are you telling me about Amy's grandmother's things being in our house? That's not relevant to child support. If we can come to an agreement with my lawyer, great. Otherwise, you can tell these details to the judge in court. You can always call Clear Line for low-income help, like I did when I appeared in court and you were held in contempt. I'm telling you about the trinkets in the house because you noted we had a lot of stuff when you came to the door. It was inherited, not bought. It is irrelevant to the judge, but you commented on it, so I'm just clarifying. And then I always said you coming today, so I always made sure that you guys, we were shared. I never kept you from her. I am working tomorrow morning, so I will not be there to pick up Ethan, but would like to move it to Friday morning at 9:30. So that was her talking about walking. At Glenwell, Ethan walk Uh, boys are waiting for you. I'd like to pick up Ethan for exercise steps. Ethan, Elijah's not answering his phone. I'm here. Is Elijah up? I'll be there about 40 minutes. And then here I said I found the baby's boys' books. Would feel better if she had them. We'll give on Sunday. They were just sitting in boxes, and I thought your mom would want some kind of memento of the birth and everything, seeing how I had all the video and pictures. Thank you, Tony. I'm glad you took all those photos. We wouldn't have any. You're welcome. Once again, that was us kind of working together. Are you guys going to church and driving boys after? Yes, I'll bring them to Glenwood after church. Did you ever file the paperwork with the court saying you were paid in full for your equity? Can I get a copy? And then this is where she's kind of being difficult, and I had to get a hold of Cliff. She's like, a paper from the court saying I was paid in full of the equity. I did not feel the need to. And what I needed that paperwork so I could refinance the house, and I was going to, me and hopefully Cliff, gonna put some money down on a house either in South Dakota or wherever me and your mom and Amy decided, but it never got that far. She just became really hard to work with. Your mom did. If I print out a satisfaction judgment can you sign and notarize for the $37,000 I paid you for half of the equity, like the divorce purpose paperwork says you're supposed to do? Thank you in advance. You're supposed to pay child support, she says. I do not believe it is prudent for me to sign a satisfaction of judgment, which is just a receipt showing, from with you who tricked me and lied in our divorce proceedings. The other thing is, when you get divorced, the judge specifically asked her at least 4 times if she was content with all the paperwork, and she agreed to it and signed it all. I did not twist her arm or trick her. She read everything, but then after, I think, talking to Jeannie told her, somehow that I should have given more and more and more. But it's hard to live and give. She at some point is supposed to do her part. Anyway, I suppose you will have to hire a lawyer, as I have done, because I know I can't trust you. And I told her satisfaction and judgment has nothing to do with child support. Anyway, so I was going to call Cliff, and here was the satisfaction and judgment. And I think what happened was Cliff had talked to her and told her she needed to do that. My point is, you're not cooperating with my lawyer for the welfare of your family. So at this point, if you get divorced, Elijah and Ethan, you too are my family and my responsibility. She is not my responsibility. That's the thing. When you get divorced, you're no longer responsible for the mother or your ex-wife. I understand having this form is important for you to move to your next school, so is a modification child support for me. So she's basically trying to blackmail me with a piece of paper that I was getting so I could get a loan to help her get a house so we could all live closer. I don't know if that makes sense, but she kind of shot herself in the foot. I would have helped. Anyway, you pulled a dirty trick in a divorce, you know it. I need to keep working this case. Looks like you have to lawyer up. If you would have been decent with me, I could have worked with you, but you have not been. So I don't see how I was not decent. I gave her $37,000 when I didn't have the money to give, And anyway, let's just keep moving on. As for lawyer, I don't have money for that. This is me. Going over here. Sorry, scratching my eye. I was giving her the Suburban also, just as a good faith, even though in the court paperwork it was mine, and she just had a title that was in her name. I would like to come talk to you and Cliff about a couple things, good things, in the next couple weeks. I think we can come to some agreement. So I was going to pitch in 20 to 30,000 to help buy your mom a house in South Dakota, or wherever decided, but Washington really wasn't working out. Does the Suburban run? Your mom says, I realize you can't sell it if it's in my name. I will be by to pick up the boys at 12:30. So she's there again thinking I'm just trying to trick her and rip her off with the Suburban. I mean, the thing was kind of a pile of crap. It was in her name, and it was just easier for me to give it to her, and maybe she could make some money from it. But anyway. And then I put a thermostat in it and a new battery, but it leaks in the back. Give you the title when you pick up the boys. Sold my flatbed trailer and used Suburban to pull it, but ain't going to the dump due to having to wear a mask. Elijah has the title. Ask him to make sure he grabbed it. And then what was this? And then this was me just double checking on who's claiming who. Speaking of which, I was supposed to be able to claim one or the other of you. And, for the last 3 of the 4 years, I was supposed to be able to claim Ethan too. And she claimed, one or the other of you on my years. So I'm just noting that. And I haven't really made a stink about it. But this double checking for the year, I'm claiming Elijah. And you're claiming Ethan. Thank you in advance. Let me know if you want me to bring the Suburban down or if you just want to come over and take some pictures and sell it. But we definitely probably just sell it. Had some mold inside and I cleaned it up, but still gets wet. And then she's freaking out about me claiming Elijah. I mean, either or, claiming Elijah or Ethan. It really didn't matter one way or the other. She's like, no, you're not claiming Elijah. Remember, I can get some pictures of the Suburban when I go to Glenwood, although it looks like you moved it. The Suburban needs to stay at Glenwood until it gets sold if anybody wants it. Expect more proceedings coming your way in the case. Our divorce has, in writing, we claim boys every other year. You certainly don't want an IRS audit. So she's threatening me as well. And I know you guys didn't see any of this, but anyway. And then I wrote, okay, so I'm claiming Ethan. And I think this is me. As far as court and child support, I have them half the time. So your child support would go from what you think is $1,000 a month to $500 if I made extremely high wages, but I don't. All my jobs are above the board, use only bank accounts, haven't used Money Tree for like 5 years. The other thing is she was getting food stamps, but only have them half the time. The money I gave you the last 3 years, which was $38,000, you should have claimed on your taxes. I don't know why you can't move on. You also need to go back to work. We both are supposed to be working for the kids' sake, unless you have a medical condition, in which case the state will pay you SSI. I told her, I'm just trying to live and work with you. That is why I gave you $2,700 for gas, so you could take Ethan to Cedar, where his friends and teachers were. I did that for Ethan. Then Corona happened, and you got to keep the $2,700. I also let you take Ethan on walks on Tuesdays, and you can see him in the middle of the week. But you never take Elijah. And I let you drop them off late or on Sundays on my days so you can have them in church. So last year I worked 5 months part-time. Look at Elijah's hours. This winter I don't have any work. Thank God for Amy's mom and her money. As for courts and child support, I have time half the time. So you child support would go from what you think down. I'm trying to work with you for their sake. There's only about 2 more years before Elijah's 18 and a little over 3 years before Ethan. Stop plotting to take me to court to try to get another $12,000 out of me. I had an idea I was going to run by you and Clip, but you were just so hateful. Elijah comes here mad at me, so you accomplished turning him against me. And that was back in January 2021. Yeah, that was all that. For moving, suburban, I just moved trailer. Okay, I read that. Divorce paperwork. Elijah, I'm wondering if my phone is on the dash. I will go check. That's Elijah talking to your mom. And then she ended up giving me Ethan's social. And then she says, remember, I will be claiming an Elijah this year. And then she's consistently threatening me. I would be asked about whether claiming Elijah or not in court. I suggest you not deviate from it or claim Haley Olsen again as your daughter like you did last year. This showing a pattern of lying and on your part. So I didn't claim her as my daughter. I claimed her as a dependent because they were using the residence so Haley could go to Cedar. And I don't know, we were going to build a garage there with a loft over the top, but this county wouldn't let us. So I claimed her, yeah. I mean, it's just what you do in taxes, Anyway, yes, this when you go back to court, claiming the showing pattern line. I meant to text, I will be claiming Elijah this year. You have been warned. We were going to build Amy's mom a garage apartment. She was also going to Cedar, which made me head of the household, but I don't have to explain my life to you. Get ready for your mental evaluations then, I said. You told Elijah for me to get it from my accountant. Well, my accountant doesn't keep the socials. I asked you and Elijah because I needed it. Want me to claim Ethan. Fine. I have the social security cards. I'm his father. I should be able to get his social security number anytime I want it without your threats. You want to go to court? Fine. I'll borrow the money from Amy's mom for the same lawyer that Randy used. I will fight for full custody if you want to go that route. And that right there is the reason that your mom took you guys to Texas. Because obviously I had a leg to stand on, she thought, in court. But I guess it was easier to just, take you guys and then convince you guys that I left, and not show you any of the letters that I left her and the money. And then she later, later wrote, no need to fear. God works everything out for those who love the Lord. For those who are the called according to his purpose, stay positive. So it's like two different people. Anyway. And then she said, this is the proof I never abandoned you. The boys told me you and Amy are moving to South Dakota. Well, first off, no, I planned on, me and Amy and all of us moving there. But Elijah, you just wouldn't even talk to me. I thought you would come and check it out, but I couldn't get you to even talk about it. What is my intentions with the boys? So, what I thought was, it's over here, still share custody, 50-50. Them staying with your mom at first. Elijah doesn't want to go. I would never take them. I would still like to have them half the time, but I cannot continue to live in a communist state. I cannot wear a mask full time. I believe the kids not being in school is doing damage to them. Amy's mom is paying for everything, which she did. I have very little work. I really don't know what I'm going to do once I get there. Was trying to refinance the house back in Washington and the property, but can't because the mobile home had been moved twice. It's the stupidest thing I ever heard of, but that's what happened. With that, was going to see if Cliff would pitch in some money, and I was going to pitch in some money to buy a house in South Dakota for her. A lot of cheaper houses for $30,000 to $50,000. Now, with no refinance, I guess we would just share custody long distance. Also, Elijah said you would never move to South Dakota. At this point, I'm waiting till spring. And that was proof I never abandoned you. She wrote again. She's like, what's your plan and provision for financial support for the two minor sons, Elijah and Ethan, while you move to South Dakota? So I wrote, as my understanding, I still have shared custody no matter where I am. As when you talked about moving to Idaho, I would honor your rights. That being said, I am responsible for their financial well-being for half the year, 6 months. I would like to at least have them come for summers, 3 months. But Elijah, for some reason, doesn't really want anything to do with South Dakota and is all around resentful towards me. They don't mind being masked up and living that way. The Department of Health website says mask wearing will be indefinite. I cannot live like this and don't think it is okay for our boys. That being said, you are their mother and you need them and they need you. If they are with you more than 6 months, I will have to give you $1,000 a month for what would have been my time. So if they come for 3 months, I would owe you for the other 3 months. I don't have them. Then after Elijah's 18, I would owe you $500 for Ethan. For anything less than 6 months, I have them. I would hope if they require vaccine to function or excessive mask wearing for long periods of time, you would let them come stay with me. Mainly because South Dakota didn't require anything. And, well, at this point, Ethan wants to visit, but Elijah doesn't barely. So I'm not going to fight to force them to come, as they would resent me as I did my mom. Hope that makes sense. I do not have a job there yet, but once we go, shouldn't be hard. They can't even keep up with the building needs in this state. Please give the suburban key to Elijah. This is your mom talking. So I can list it. Still working with the lawyer so we can establish a child support order that is reasonable and enforceable. Working something out with the lawyer would be preferable than going to court. Don't you agree? And I said, yes, key is in it, and yes, that will work. So I never said I wouldn't pay child support, especially if, you guys were with her. Anyway, and I said, can you pick up the boys? And then the day I left South Dakota, I was expecting to see you both at least 3 months and stay in contact. I left a letter and $3,000 for 3 months. And here was the letter I wrote. I handed it to her with $3,000. Thank you for having two beautiful boys. It is in the best interest of my sanity to move to a state where we are free. I cannot live in Washington State any longer. We still share custody, so I guess we just need to figure that out, how to share the boys across several states. I remember you were talking about Idaho at one point and would travel back and forth to make that happen. Elijah seems to love it in this prison state. I feel he worries about you. He has not expressed any interest in moving, traveling, or even visiting, but maybe you can talk to him. I was hoping she would convince you to, come see your dad, and Ethan too, as Ethan follows you, but it seems she's convinced you the other way. Originally, I would like to have them 9 months so they could go to public school in South Dakota, where they could have a normal childhood experience, or childhood school experience, and spend summers with you, or have them 9 months. I have them for summers, and yes, I would have to pay you $1,000 a month for 3 months. Out of the 6, I wouldn't have them, or we split 3 months with you and 3 with me, off and on. This is if they are homeschooled, but they are not home. But they are not homeschooling. Or the other option is 6 months with you and 6 months with me. Ethan is willing to come and check it out, but Elijah's pretty upset. So I don't want them to do anything they don't want to do. The reason I was trying to have you sign the payoff thing for the property was so I could borrow money against the equity from the property. I was going to put 15 to 20,000 towards a house for you, and would be in your name and own. Elijah and Cliff was going to help with the place. Oh, Elijah said Cliff was going to help with the place. Was thinking put those two monies together to buy your mama a house, in South Dakota or somewhere near. Their house is 20 to 50,000, livable and nice. The problem now is my mobile home moved twice. It wasn't bought brand new. So no finance company wants to refinance it. Amy's mom bought herself a house and bought us a house. We were going to upgrade the house. She bought us. It needed a lot of work. I was waiting to hear back from the finance company before I talked to you. I do not want to make the boys do anything they don't want to do. But I do believe South Dakota is a much better place to raise children. Let me know what you think. Tony Anderson. And then I continued to text her, and I got no response once I left. And the next 5 months after I left, I wrote letters. I threatened to, file in court saying she wasn't, doing what she's supposed to do. And then 6 months later, it's me, threatening. I was basically threatening, trying to just so I could see you boys. But I got no response. So, and then, obviously I had 50-50 custody of you guys. But, yeah, that's pretty much it. So I spent the last 4 years trying to get you guys to just talk to me and come back to me. At least let me try to be a dad. I don't know, things just are so messed up. I don't even know how we get back to where we were now. It's going to just take some open arms on your guys' part, and I'm the same guy, and I love you both the same as I ever did. So maybe you can take a look at this, and I can send you the phones I have to show you that these aren't created text, they're actually from the phone. And I don't know, so many things are just that never had to be this way. And I just want you guys to both know I love you to death, and I miss you. And yeah, just think about it. I love you. Bye bye.